going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is Saturday, April 11th, 2020, and my God, man, my plate is so full, I don't know what to do with all of it. I got so much news to go over with you guys coming out of SmackDown, coming out of Raw, coming out of WWE in general. News just broke as of Friday for the SmackDown tapings, a major story that I had reported on Friday's episode of Off the Script, where WWE had a filming schedule set for the next 6 days, starting on Thursday, running through the entire weekend up until Monday Night Raw, for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, to at least hold them over until the stay-at-home order in Florida was lightened up a bit, because they have a stay-at-home order until, I believe, April 30th. Now things have changed, and Vince McMahon changed his mind midway through the SmackDown tapings last night. They filmed it on Friday, and in the middle of the tapings, Vince McMahon said, you know what? Screw the taped atmosphere. We are going live. And his decision is now making the entire WWE roster very upset, as it was described as a very aggressive Vince McMahon mandated everybody needs to do what they have to do, giving them letters in case Florida officials stop them for breaking the stay-at-home order, man. It is absolutely crazy. We're going to try and dive into this today on Off the Script. Also, news making rounds yesterday that got everybody triggered, and I don't know why. Ronda Rousey came out and had an interview, and she said fake fighting, and she said fuck the fans, and she said this, and she said that, and she's now triggering the entire WWE women's division, and rightfully so. So what does this mean? Does this mean Ronda Rousey really means fuck the fans? Does this mean that everybody in social media land is going to be taking her comments out of context? Or does this mean that the heel Ronda Rousey that you seen at WrestleMania last year that was defeated by Becky Lynch, does it mean that heel Ronda Rousey is on her way back to the WWE? So we'll talk about that as well. All the news coming out of Raw and out of SmackDown. I got news on why Apollo Crews was just somehow placed on Monday Night Raw. I got news on why WWE wanted Drew McIntyre versus The Big Show at WrestleMania. Did not happen on Monday Night Raw as far as I'm concerned. It happened at WrestleMania. Is Ciampa already in the running for WrestleMania 38? The Revival finally got released from the WWE. I got all the news as it pertains to the Revival, what their names are going to be, what their tag team name is going to be, where they're going to end up, and how we're all fucking happy that it finally happened. Finally, they are gone. And the big news about Roman Reigns is WWE upset at Roman Reigns for missing WrestleMania, and when is Roman Reigns coming back to WWE? Because as of right now, according to several sources, people in WWE don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns and if he's actually coming back. So we're going to go over all of that today right here on Off the Script, man. A loaded show, so do not go anywhere. Speaking of loaded shows, I uploaded twice yesterday and I streamed. I'm all over the place, man. During this lockdown, I'm all over the place. But yesterday, we uploaded twice. Earlier in the afternoon with OTS 321 Part 1, we dive into the comments made by Edge on Corey Graves after the bell, where he called everybody on social media that did not like his match a minuscule militia of malcontents. So we dive into that, and I explain to everybody in the best way that I possibly could explain it to everybody. It is okay if you do not like a match that underwhelmed at WrestleMania in the middle of a pandemic. Do not ever let anybody tell you because there's a pandemic going on that you should only be grateful for what you're getting right now. If WWE is acting as if there's nothing going on, and we'll go over that today and emphasize that, and Vince McMahon wants to run live shows and carry on with his creative, that does not mean that there's a pandemic that you're immune to criticisms. If you're going to act like nothing's going on, then I'm going to act like I always do and criticize the fucking show when it needs to be criticized. So we dive into that on OTS Part 1, 321. Go and check that out. Link is down below in the description. And then we had SmackDown, where we had Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, all but confirmed as the next feud for the Universal Championship going on into Money in the Bank. Why it's a terrible idea, why it will not work, and why WWE already seemingly has booked themselves into a creative corner. How did they do that? I explain it all, as always, just like I always do on the SmackDown review. Go and check that out. Links are down below in the description. As this goes live on YouTube, I will be getting ready to stream part 2 of my Resident Evil 3 remake walkthrough. So if you guys want to join me and hang out tonight on a Saturday night, grab a cold beverage and whatnot, I'll be live streaming on Twitch. Twitch is the only place where you can find my video game content if you're into that type of thing. We're going to be finishing Resident Evil 3. I'm loving it so far. Can't wait to dive back into it. And then we might be doing Final Fantasy VII, man. I can't wait. My favorite game of all time. So if you guys are into my video game stuff, Twitch link is down below. Please make sure you guys follow me over there so you get all of that content as well. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys follow me on Patreon as well. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. If you guys want to hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate that as well. That is down below. All you got to do is hit subscribe and then turn on the bells for all notifications so you guys are aware of every single upload that I do put on the channel. And, as always, hit that thumbs up if you enjoy what you see and hear right here on Off the Script. And the podcast today is brought to you by my two biggest partners, Harry's and Honey. And we'll go over those guys later on in the show, but I want to thank them for supporting Off the Script. That's harrys.com/script for your $13 value trial set. And we got Honey, the #1 browser extension where it's going to end up saving you money. Applies coupons to every single purchase that you got online. Join honey.com/offthescript. So thank you guys for supporting my sponsors right here on the podcast. Let's hit the biggest story, man. We're going to start off with this major story coming out of WWE, and that is the TV tapings changed again. WWE changes plans to tape TV again. Several wrestlers very upset at a very aggressive Vince McMahon during the SmackDown tapings at the Performance Center on Friday. Now, Vince McMahon made the call to cancel plans for weekend TV tapings, and the decision was made after SmackDown and 205 Live were taped. The plan is now to run shows live, L-I-V-E, live, every week from the WWE Performance Center. Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp reported earlier on Friday that WWE talent were given a pass that said that they were essential media in case they were stopped by government officials and law enforcement. Per state law, essential media is permitted to continue running during the pandemic. Fightful is reporting that a very aggressive Vince McMahon is the person who made the call, and wrestlers were said to be very unhappy about the decision. It appears that going live was being considered before Friday because Meltzer noted that someone in the company noted to him that weekend taping plans were the current plan. According to Meltzer on the Observer Live, Vince McMahon changed his mind in the middle of yesterday's SmackDown tapings. This is what he says, and I quote, "From what I understand, Vince always had it in his head about going live, but whenever they went there, they didn't know that. In fact, they taped the show in the afternoon, and then after the show was taped, Then Vince McMahon changed his mind. He said, we're going SmackDown with SmackDown tonight live, or as close to the contract as it can be to live, and then that's it. And people went home, and they're going to come back on Monday and do Raw live, and they're going to come back on Wednesday and do NXT live. The ones who have to come back, and they're going to do NXT, and they're going to be doing that every single week. Every single week in the midst of the virus going on and the stay-at-home orders that are currently being enforced. People will ask, is Florida in a shutdown? It is, and in fact, Orange County is in a shutdown, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering why. Why? I can't give you an exact reason as to why WWE is going live. I can't really give you an exact reason. I can only make some logical assumptions. As far as why they're permitted to go live, we all know it's not really a secret. It's very common knowledge. Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are very good friends. Trump maybe gave Vince McMahon a bye here with all of this. He gave him an exemption. But then Trump really doesn't have the power over the governors for the county, for Orange County and the state of Florida. So it might have been a situation if Vince didn't go through Trump and Trump gave Vince an exemption directly. Trump may have told Governor DeSantis in Florida, and that is how the exemption got to Vince McMahon. It all came from Trump, but Trump talked to Florida state officials, and then Florida state officials had to abide by what Trump said. So it's a very sticky situation as far as that goes. Now, as far as the roster goes and them being upset, let's dive into that a little bit further. Also, as noted earlier, wrestlers were said to be very unhappy about this. Meltzer noted that wrestlers were also shocked at the decision, while those close to management defended the decision. Of course they would. Citing that it would be the correct economic decision even if there are questions from people who say they should not be running shows at all. Now, that's a fair judgment. That's a fair response, just from an outsider's perspective looking in. We don't know what WWE TV deals look like. We don't know if they are allotted a certain number of taped shows. Because, quite honestly, when WWE had given their TV rights to Fox, or Fox ended up buying, the TV rights deals to WWE for SmackDown, and NBC Universal has been in bed with WWE for God knows how long with the TV rights on USA for Monday Night Raw. The reason why these networks find WWE so attractive, it has nothing to do with the quality of the fucking product. They don't give a shit about the quality of the product. The quality of product could be fucking piss poor. It's piss poor now. It could be fucking complete dog shit for all they care. The reason why they are paying WWE the money that they are paying is because there is nothing like the WWE in sports. It's completely live. The majority of the year is live, new, fresh content every single week. There is not one sports organization or one brand that continues to produce live television every single week, 52 weeks a year. And the only time they're exempt from doing live shows is like a New Year's or a Christmas show or the European tour when they go overseas because of the time difference. That's it. That's it. That's why WWE is in this position with their TV deals. Now, if they break that, if they continue doing tape shows, are they going against the original contracts that they had signed with NBC and Fox? More than likely. But in this day and age and in this situation that we're going through right now, is it out of the realm of possibility that Fox is lenient and NBC Universal is lenient with WWE, knowing that there's a pandemic going on, and if they have to go tape, they have no other choice but to go taped to keep the roster safe and healthy to go taped? Will that be an issue for them? Will they change it structurally for the time being just because of what's going on and to keep everybody safe, happy, and healthy, and this thing doesn't spread? I don't know. I don't really know. Or is it just like everything else? It's just nothing but corporate greed and politics and some political agenda. They want their money. Fuck everybody and fuck the health and well-being of everybody. I want my contract to be, lived by, and fuck everything else. Nothing else is a matter to me. Nothing else is a concern to me. I don't know. I don't really know. But the roster is upset. Management is defending the decision, of course, because their well-being and their money, hinders on these deals. And the roster, obviously, they are upset because they feel like if they taped all of these shows and banged it out, got it done, they could be home safe, happy, healthy with their families, get some time away from the wrestling thing, spend time at home with their families. Again, health being a number one priority. And by the time all these tapings are done, maybe things would be back to normal, and then we can hit the road again and do what we got to do and go out there and perform for everybody in front of a live audience. So you can see both sides of the situation, why they're unhappy and why management is obviously standing by this decision. Now, Meltzer noted that NBC Universal and Fox contracts have a clause. This is why I have labeled everything in the order that I did. Meltzer noted that NBC and Fox contracts have a clause that requires only a small amount of shows can be taped per year. The number of Raw shows that can be taped in a year is 3. The tape shows are usually the Christmas week shows and the European tour. Meltzer said that no one will say it publicly, but there is a fear that violating the contract or contracts could give networks the legal right to figure out a way to restructure the TV deals or to hold on back payments for WWE. WWE and AEW right now are both surviving on TV revenue. TV networks are also bringing in less ad revenue. It would seem unlikely that the TV contracts with WWE will be put in danger because, as Meltzer noted, the only sports programming on Fox is WWE, and USA's overall ratings are boosted because of WWE being their highest-rated TV show. So WWE has leverage, but at some point the networks could be forced to make cuts if ad revenue continues to decline if businesses do not open up soon. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis or President Trump have not said anything about WWE continuing with shows, and it seems unlikely that a friend of Vince McMahon will step in, but there are questions on allowing wrestlers to travel to Florida every single week. Wrestlers are said to be unhappy, so at what point do they decide to pull out of shows? It's still not out of the question that the governor decides to do what California did with the UFC that led ESPN and Disney to tell Dana White not to run shows. His private island fucking dream, that went up in smoke. That's obviously no longer happening. It is unclear if it was Vince McMahon's decision to start doing live shows again as a way to make sure the TV contracts can't be broken, or if there was a pressure from the TV networks because of declining ratings. McMahon told the crew on Friday that they needed to tape this week's SmackDown to as close to live as it could get. End quote. It's a very sticky situation here, man. I could shit on WWE till I'm blue in the face. And you guys all know that. But I'm trying to think logically about this situation here. Are they an essential business? That's going to be up for discussion. That is a very subjective thing. If you are afraid of what's going on in the world today and you want everybody to be happy and healthy and you're a active WWE superstar, yeah, of course you want to be home. Of course you want to be home. You don't want to be labeled an essential business. You think these men and women like performing in front of an empty arena? You think these men and women like to be a part of a show that really has no emotion, no feel? You're just going through the emotions. And, it's easy for people to look at WWE and say, oh, be grateful for what they're doing. They're putting on a show for you when nothing really is going on in and around the world. That's great. But do you think they want to be out there risking their health and their well-being to take that back home to whoever their family is? Do you think they find satisfaction in working in front of nobody? It's almost as if you're a slave to the job at that point. I can't see how anybody is enjoying what they're doing. They're honestly just being told what to do by Vince McMahon because this is all Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is pulling the strings here. And even at that point, you can side with the roster. You can feel empathy for the roster. You could feel all this remorse for the roster and feel that they don't want to be doing what they're doing. But then on the other side of the coin, you got to be a little bit mindful of what Vince McMahon is probably going through. What is Vince McMahon going through? WWE's declining ratings. They got no fucking live gate. They got no merchandise being sold. They had their biggest event in a fucking empty arena with absolutely nothing behind it. It was touted as the most viewed WrestleMania of all time, which is a complete bullshit fucking bogus farce. Give me a break. Nobody watched that WrestleMania. If they did, then you'd see the Monday Night Raw number be Raw After Mania-like. And it was anything but. It was the third lowest Raw rating in the history of Monday Night Raw. And I feel like that's a common theme every single week. But you got to be mindful of what Vince McMahon is going through. His life right now is in a financial fucking downfall. His financials right now are crumbling right before his very eyes. How much money of his own on what was being reported? We don't know where the money legitimately came from. I still think he kind of dipped into the WWE pool about funding the XFL, but that's just me making a fucking assumption. I don't have any facts to back up that statement. I would not be surprised. But how much of Vince McMahon's money, of his own money, did he put into the XFL? And how do you think that pained him? How do you think that pained him to go out there and say, all operations of the XFL are closed down? They are suspended. You know? Is the XFL ever going to come back? I don't know. But they fired everybody. They got nothing more than a bare bones crew. There's no fucking league. They're not coming back this year. They told ESPN that they are committed to having a full season in 2021, but that's all hearsay. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if there's going to be an MLB season. We don't know if there's going to be an NBA season. We don't know if there's going to be an NHL season. We don't know if there's going to be any sports. Donald Trump had a meeting with everybody and said it is probably likely that August or September will be the time frame when we see live attendance at stadium shows again. What do you think Vince McMahon is feeling? Had to close up the XFL. The WWE is in fucking downfall. At some point, we can shit on Vince McMahon all we want, but at some point, we gotta feel for him. You know, he leveraged his fucking stocks a couple of weeks ago with some unknown bank, right? I didn't really get into that story because I don't really find myself to be a knowledgeable individual to talk about that and really make sense of it. But he leveraged his fucking stock with an unknown bank for the next 4 or 5 years. So at what point do we start feeling for Vince McMahon? You know, if he needs to run live TV to keep the WWE up and running as far as Fox and NBC Universal goes, then that's the only decision for him. If that's the only decision for him, I honestly think we should back the fucking decision made by Vince McMahon. The wrestlers could be upset. I'm not saying you can't feel sorrow and remorse and sadness. I can't sit here and tell you not to feel for the WWE superstars because I know for a fact they don't want to be there. I know. But if Vince McMahon didn't do what he did here and runs live TV shows and the roster is unhappy, what if the day comes where if everybody got what they wanted and said, oh, just take a break and just go home and blah, blah, blah. Vince doesn't want the WWE to die beyond conditions out of his control. There might not be a WWE for these guys to go back to. And if there's no WWE for these guys to go back to, then they're out of a job. They're not going to have the lifestyles that they have. They're not going to be making the money that Vince is currently paying them. You know, and when things get back to normal, which I do think that they will, I'm confident that they will, they'll still have a job where most of the fucking country, 7 million plus, have filed for unemployment. These guys still have a job. Everyone in AEW still has a job. You know, if Vince didn't do and make this executive decision to continue with these live shows, most of these guys wouldn't have a fucking WWE to come back to. And I'm not even talking about the bigger guys. I'm talking about the middle of the road guys to the bottom of the barrel guys, WWE's not going to keep them all around. If WWE continues to truck along and continues to do live TV and things slowly start to get better and everything gets back to normal, then everything is going to work itself out. I do have a feeling about that. But if everybody says, shut it down, let's do this, let's do that, and Vince McMahon succumbs to all of this, not only is he going to further just put himself in a deeper hole, but the roster's not going to have a WWE to come back to. AEW is not going to pick up every WWE superstar. There might not even be an AEW either. Where are these guys going to go and find work? Pro wrestling might cease to exist. You think, no way Jose is going to find another job and fucking be a successful pro wrestler anywhere? Right? Or a Heath Slater or all these other guys that just are sitting around collecting a paycheck. Even if WWE folded and AEW was around, you think AEW is going to be able to swoop in and sign all these guys? You think they're going to sign a Jinder Mahal and a Heath Slater and a No Way Jose and an Apollo Crews and all these guys right now that are sitting comfy with the WWE? They're using this as a security blanket, so they could cry and be upset at Vince McMahon doing what he's got to do. But if Vince McMahon didn't do what he had to do here, there might not be a WWE for these guys to call a job. It is a very subjective thing. I'm trying to look at it in a logical way instead of saying, yeah, close it down. Close it down. I'm saying close it down. I'm saying WWE could benefit from a little off-season or a little break, right? And I'm just speaking as far as a fan creatively. We're all burnt out. We're all sick and tired of this shit. We don't want to see this in its current state. But I'm speaking as a fan, not really taking into consideration the business aspect of it. So this is a very, very sticky situation. And if these guys are upset, what are they going to do? They could back out. They could do whatever they want. I doubt WWE is going to blame them. Everybody's scared and everybody's afraid of the uncertainty. But Vince is doing the best for the WWE. We can sit here and say Vince doesn't have his mind on the roster, but in fact, it's the opposite. Because without the WWE, he has no roster. He wants to keep everybody employed. He wants to keep his job. He wants to keep everybody working with the WWE. He wants to keep his own financials where they should be. It's going to be a struggle, but he doesn't want to have it get any worse. He lives and breathes WWE. Everybody that's a part of the WWE, in some way, shape, or form, he legitimately cares about. So if everybody's saying that they're upset and they don't want to go through with this, what choice do you have? What choice do you have? Not everybody's going to find success after the WWE. Less than 1% will rise to the occasion and find something else to do and be successful. And the others will fade away into obscurity. And you'll never have another fucking wrestling promotion to go back to because nobody's going to fucking give you the time of day. WWE right now is in the situation that they're in, and Vince is trying to do everything to save the company and do what is right and abide by the TV deals and make sure that no more money is flying out the window. Because right now, Vince McMahon and money, they don't seem to be as good as friends as we thought they were. So that's my take on that. Very sticky situation. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. WWE, as far as rescheduling, they did reschedule their UK tour events for Raw and SmackDown. So for all my UK folk out there, hopefully you're doing well. Due to the pandemic, WWE had to reschedule its UK tour that was originally set to take place from May 3rd to May 8th. The event scheduled for the SSE Hydro in Glasgow has been rescheduled from May 3rd to October 7th. The arena writes, and I quote, WWE Live in Glasgow, scheduled to take place at 5 p.m. on Sunday, May 3rd, has been postponed and now will take place on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, at the new time of 7:30 p.m. All tickets for the May 3rd event will remain valid for October 7th. Ticket holders who cannot attend the new date should contact their point of purchase by May 15th. So for everybody that might have had a ticket, if you're listening to the show and you're from that part of the globe and you had tickets to that particular show, that's the news there. An episode of SmackDown TV was held, or was supposed to be held at the O2 Arena in London on May 8th, but that has been changed to October 9th per the O2 Arena website. And it's the same thing. Tickets for that event that was supposed to be on May 8th will be valid for October 9th and should contact your point of purchase by May 15th. Ticket holders should contact by May 15th. Now, there is another event that was scheduled in Newcastle that was supposed to be on May 4th, which has been rescheduled to April 30th, 2021. The arena states there. That is the Utila Arena. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that's in Newcastle. And that was on May 4th, rescheduled to April 30th of next year. The production team commented WWE Live in Newcastle, scheduled to take place on May 4th, has been postponed and will take place on April 30th, 2021. Again, all those tickets will remain valid for that particular show. Ticket holders who cannot attend the event should contact their point of purchase by May 15th. So that is the news there for all my UK folk. Those tours are obviously canceled for the situation that is going on right now. Let's move on to SmackDown, man. SmackDown and the Go-Home Show. We didn't talk about this last week because it was WrestleMania, but the SmackDown rating for the Go-Home Show averaged 2.374 million viewers, the same overnight number as the week prior. The opening hour did 2.407 million viewers, with the show then falling 2.7% in hour 2 to 2.342 million. SmackDown was by far the lowest viewed show on all major networks, with ABC's 2020 being the closest with an average of 3.34. In the demos, SmackDown averaged a 0.6 in the 18 to 49. That was down 14.3% from the previous week. It's the lowest number the show has done in that demo since debuting on Fox, and it tied several other shows for the lowest on network TV that night. Now, when SmackDown debuted on Fox, it was routinely winning in that demo. In the 18 to 34 demo, SmackDown averaged a 0.4 rating, identical to the week prior, and also matching the series low. It tied a few other shows behind Hawaii Five-0 and Shark Tank for third on network TV in that category. So that was the Go-Home Show. A lot of people are wondering about the post-WrestleMania show, the one that happened last night where we seen Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. The overnight ratings are in for the post-WrestleMania SmackDown, the one that happened last night. And those ratings are in, and the episode drew an average of 2.304, which is down from the Go-Home Show episode, which did 2.375. The first hour saw it pull in a 2.372, and then hour 2 dropped to 2.235 million viewers. It also pulled in an average of a 0.6 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, which was number 4 for the night, and that is the same from the 0.60 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic the show did in the week prior for the Go-Home Show. SmackDown was number 8 for the night amongst the networks in viewership, the same from last week's number 8 ranking. It was behind American Housewife 2020, Hawaii Five-0, Magnum PI, Blue Bloods, The Blacklist, and Dateline NBC among the top shows on network television. Should be noted that this is the overnight number, and the actual rating will not be released until Monday. The show felt different in a way that WWE actually put a lot into the show, and it seemed like they really took orders from Vince McMahon. It needs to be as live could be. Enough of these taped fucking segments, enough of these reruns of matches from the WWE Network. The show flowed a lot better yesterday, I will say that. It wasn't a great show by any stretch of the imagination, but the show did flow better than it has in previous weeks on any show on the road to WrestleMania. And it wasn't completely a terrible show. The show's always bad, but it was less terrible last night than it was in the previous weeks. The Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman thing, I don't know how this is going to get anybody excited. And I made mention of this on the SmackDown review. I'll go over it briefly here. I don't really understand people's excitement for the story of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. You know, in any other circumstance, it might have been a great story to tell if they weren't in the current positions that they are currently in right now. Because the history is there. They do have history with one another. Braun Strowman was in the Wyatt family. I get it. But that does not mean it makes for a great Universal Championship feud, especially after what had happened in the first 3 months of the year. How is this exciting to anybody? Do you not have longevity on the mind? I don't get it. Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman is a terrible idea for the WWE Universal Championship. Now, I'm not even going to mention Goldberg. I'm not, as far as Bray Wyatt is concerned, because it all goes back to that anyway. It really does. And I want you guys to just keep that in the back of your head. I don't want to constantly mention that because every situation that WWE does, it's always going to make that one seem a lot worse than it really was. They're always going to add a level of much worse to that with every future decision. Braun Strowman just beat. Now, first of all, it was bad enough that Braun Strowman beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. That made Bray Wyatt versus Goldberg that much worse. Okay? And then they didn't give us an explanation as to why he was there. He was just a plan B. Braun Strowman beat Goldberg at WrestleMania, and I knew that this was going to be one of the first title feuds that they were going to do. Now, the criticism that was aimed in my direction was, what else do they got? They have no other choice. I'm sorry. Whose fault is that? Why do I gotta sit here and watch obvious garbage because of WWE's fucking laziness creatively to give me anything new and fresh? Do you realize that the Universal Championship picture and the WWE title picture on Monday Night Raw, because I don't trust them at all with Drew McIntyre, they are fucking terrible. Look at SmackDown. SmackDown's much worse than Raw. Look at the SmackDown just Universal title picture. It is fucking terrible. If Braun Strowman beats Bray Wyatt is dead. If Bray Wyatt loses to Braun Strowman, everything you did with the Funhouse is a fucking waste of time. You pretty much sacrificed John Cena and deconstructed John Cena and his career for no reason to feed him to Braun Strowman, who at WrestleMania was in a title match that he did not even deserve, let alone win, be in. So if Bray loses, he's dead. And he's already fucking hanging on a strand. He's hanging on life support. He's on a ventilator himself right now. Life support is the feed. Now, if Braun Strowman loses, this is where it gets a little interesting. If Braun Strowman loses, not only is he a transitional champion, not only do you waste everything about him beating Goldberg, but it all goes back to that February match with Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. You make it look like a complete waste of everybody's time because you're just giving the title back to Bray Wyatt when in actuality, he never should have lost it. You could have saved yourself all of this trouble if you just made the right decision back in February, and that decision was Bray Wyatt beating Bill Goldberg. And he didn't do it. And here's the kicker. If you give Bray Wyatt the championship, who is he left to feud with as far as a babyface on SmackDown? There's only two people in my three people if you want to put him in there, but we've already seen it, and WWE's not going to give Daniel Bryan, who's at the top of my list as babyfaces on SmackDown, not going to give Daniel Bryan any Universal Championship opportunity, let alone a Universal Championship reign. He's a free agent this summer. They don't know if he's staying. They don't know if he's going. They don't know what his decision's going to be. So they're not going to give anybody a title when there's uncertainty of whether they stay or go. So Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan is automatically out of the question. Now they got Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy and Bray Wyatt could be an interesting feud. I think that would work very well because Bray Wyatt and Jeff Hardy, not only do I see them mixing up very well, but the story of the Firefly Funhouse just unleashing the fears and having all of those fears become a reality, that could be a fun story to tell with Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy has a lot of demons that I'm sure Bray Wyatt can expose and really make a real fun, realistic storyline out of it. And then the other one is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. If Bray Wyatt beats Braun Strowman, not only is Braun Strowman going to become a transitional Universal Champion, but in the same breath, you're making Bray Wyatt a transitional champion again. Because he's just going to give the title right back to the original guy that was going to get it anyway, and that is Roman Reigns. So how is this benefiting anybody? This is what people don't talk about. You want to say, oh, yeah, it's a great feud because they got history. Oh, it's the only thing that they can do. Simplistic fucking idiots that don't deserve a podcast. Fucking idiots on social media that don't deserve internet access to spew their fucking stupidity. Stupidity's more contagious than whatever's going on right now with this fucking virus. Stop. Think. Sit down and dissect what the real fucking root of the problem is. If it's WWE's only fucking feud on SmackDown, that's not my fucking problem. Maybe they should start building a better roster of top-tier guys so that when they get in a situation like this, I'm not sitting here complaining about why this guy's dead, why that guy's dead, why I don't give a shit about this guy, and why this guy winning the championship means nothing because he's a transitional champion. Give me a break. Do I want to sit here talking about the reality of this situation? No, I want to sit here and enjoy what the fuck I'm watching, but I can't because it sucks and it doesn't make any sense. You legitimately give me fuel for the fire that burns inside. Continue. Speaking of WrestleMania, WWE might already have a front-runner city for WrestleMania 38. WWE's already confirmed that WrestleMania 37 will be in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Now, WWE was supposed to have WrestleMania this year in Tampa, but obviously you know what happened there. WrestleVotes sent out a tweet on Monday following Mania that stated Tampa is expected to be in the running to host WrestleMania 38 despite the change in plans for WrestleMania 36. It should be noted that other cities will obviously have the chance to bid on the right to host the event as well. And he says this, and I quote, "Now that the weekend that was to be has passed, I can say that WrestleMania and Tampa will be a likely pairing in 2022 for WrestleMania 38. Tampa will be in the running. All the initial legwork is obviously done. With the city still very much eager to host the event, it might be a shoe-in. Time will tell." Hey, listen, all I will say is this. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I would love to see that pirate theme back. I love to see that pirate ship brought into the stadium. I'm sure it's already there. I love to be, a part of that with that backdrop. That's awesome. I loved the theme of the pirates and the ships and the skulls and the fucking swords and all that stuff for WrestleMania. I thought it was great. I love that pirate-themed, pirate-esque feel. So if that is the same theme for WrestleMania 38 because of where they're located, I would be absolutely okay with that. I really would. So frontrunner city for WrestleMania 38 could be Tampa, could be somebody else, but knowing that Tampa was looking very much forward to making all of that money for their local economy and what WrestleMania does for the economy in which it resides in for the week, I don't think Tampa's going to let that one slide. I think they're going to do everything they can to get that event back in the city in 2022. So we'll see what happens there. WWE Backstage, I don't know if you guys are watching Backstage, but their ratings seem to be delivering in the middle of this pandemic. Tuesday was a WWE night on Fox, and it delivered with WWE Backstage last week with WWE 24 WrestleMania specials leading into the show. Now, WWE Backstage scored a 0.04 rating in the 18 to 49 demo and 140,000 viewers, which was steady with it was steady from the previous week, but it was up 4% respectively from the previous weeks. It was a 0.04 demo in the rating and a 134,000 viewership in the previous week. The audience was the best number since the February 11th episode, and that had 169,000 viewers just 6 weeks ago. In addition to WWE Backstage, Fox Sports 1, FS1, had 3 WrestleMania episodes of WWE 24 as a lead-in to the Backstage episode. All 3 specials did well, particularly considering their essential repeats from the WWE Network, with the WWE airing 34, 35, and 31. So the ratings are as follows. 31, the WWE 24 special for WrestleMania 31 got 183,000 viewers. The WrestleMania 34 special got 232,000 viewers, and WrestleMania 35 did 232,000 viewers. I think that's great. I really do. I don't know why ESPN didn't really want any of that content. I would have much rather seen that content on ESPN and get that content out into a wider audience. I don't know why WWE didn't push that to ESPN. That stuff is more captivating and interesting than the actual WrestleMania shows. So I don't know why ESPN or WWE didn't lobby for that to be. Imagine the ratings on ESPN for those shows. Those WrestleMania shows were drawing 800, 700, 750,000 viewers on ESPN. For WrestleMania, you probably get the good old hunting and the fly fishing doing like 2.3 million on ESPN on a good day, right? And here we got WrestleMania drawing these subpar numbers. I wish WWE had pushed those 24 specials on ESPN because those, I think, to a casual audience would be far more interesting and really captivate those people who don't have the network, who don't know anything about these superstars, to maybe think, you know what, let me check out what's going on. I like this. I really like this documentary on said person. Let me see what's going on WWE TV. Because if you're watching the wrestling show, I mean, how's that going to prompt any of these casuals to say, you know what, I'm going to watch WrestleMania 31 and then I'm going to tune in to WrestleMania 36. And I'm going to tune into Monday Night Raw and see what's going on. Nobody's going to give a shit. You're just watching it because there simply is no sports on. And there's no interest there. It's all about who you captivate and who you retain moving on to the actual program weekly. I don't think WWE did a very good job in that at all. But that's just my take on that. But FS1 did the right thing, and obviously the 24 specials did very well on FS1 with that audience, and it served to be a great lead-in for WWE Backstage. The Revival, gone. Finally released from the WWE. The WWE finally agreed to release The Revival, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder. On Friday, WWE issued a statement that officially announced the former tag team champions are no longer under contract with the company. This comes after the tag team had requested their release on a few occasions prior. WWE statements read as follows. Effective today, Friday, April 10th, 2020, WWE and the Revival have agreed on their immediate release from the WWE. We wish them all of the best in their future endeavors. So, two things to take from this statement that WWE put out about the Revival. The Revival and WWE have agreed on their immediate release from the WWE. A lot of people spreading false information in the community. Oh, they got 30 days. They got a 30-day no-compete clause. Oh, they got a 60-day no-compete clause. Oh, they got the generic 90-day no-compete clause. Immediate release means they are immediately released from the WWE without any clause at all. They could show up on AEW this Wednesday via a taped promo. They could sign contracts now and show up on Dynamite via a taped promo baked into the show, and all will be good. I don't think that's going to happen. I wouldn't recommend that. I would save these guys, keep them on the back burner until we get a live audience where they could debut on Dynamite. But if they want to do that, the door is open. Immediate release means no compete clause. They are free and able to work wherever they want. Now, the last line got to me as well. We wish them all of the best in their future endeavors. If WWE wanted to be dicks about the Revival not wanting to be with the company, then they could have said fuck these guys and not wish them well in their future endeavors. The fact that they got future endeavored, very small, minuscule chance, but the fact that they actually got wished the best in their future endeavors kind of leaves the door a little bit open for a potential return to the WWE, meaning that I think the WWE would welcome them back if they want to come back in the future. The belief is that they are headed to All Elite Wrestling now that they are no longer under contract with WWE. They have trademarked Top Guys, which is a name that they have referred to themselves to in the past. They've also trademarked Say Yeah and No Flips, Just Fists. As recent as February, it was reported that the company had been trying to re-sign them to big money deals that would likely have kept them under contract for the next 5 years. You knew, just by the way that they were booked and the current state of the tag team division, which is fucking abysmal on both shows, that they would be as dead as fucking anything I've ever seen in WWE if they remained for the next 5 years. All you had to do is not even look at the tag team division. Look at the tag teams that signed new deals. Look at the OC. Look at the OC. They haven't done anything on Monday Night Raw. They were given a fucking pity tag team title reign, and what happened? 3 weeks later, no longer. And they haven't even sniffed the tag team championships, and the division is in fucking shambles. So what are you doing at that point? You're signing your life away to be completely unhappy and just sit around, not going out there, experiencing the fucking industry right now and testing yourself and giving yourself the opportunity to say, you know what? We're the best fucking tag team on the planet. How the fuck are you going to show that in the WWE under a 5-year contract in a dead division? You can't. They made the best decision, not only for their life, their happiness, but their career. The original report suggests that prior to the news of their release was that Dawson's deal was supposed to expire in April. On the flip side, Wilder was going to have to wait until June before he would have been allowed out of his deal. Now, the reason for that was due to WWE adding time on his deal because he was out injured. Now the Revival are officially done with the WWE. They already have picked out new names. Scott Dawson has changed his name to Dax Harwood on Twitter, and Dash Wilder has changed his name to Cash Wheeler. So it looks like those are the names that they will be using on the independent scene or in AEW if they do indeed sign there. The names that they chose are basically modified versions of their real names. Dax Harwood's real name is David Harwood, and Cash Wheeler's real name is Daniel Wheeler. They've also trademarked the following: no flips, just fists, say yeah, top guys, shatter machine, and hashtag FTRKO. Man, was that a missed opportunity, huh? Randy Orton, all he did was tweet out something yesterday. I commented on it, blew up. All he said in a tweet was hashtag FTRKO. What a fucking missed opportunity that was, man. Randy wanted it. He wanted it and lobbied to Vince for it. And he did not want to even abide by what Randy Orton had given him creatively. I want to work with the Revival. Vince denied it. And just by that, you kind of knew your fucking fate was sealed, right? If Vince will not pair Dash and Wilder, Dawson and Wilder with Randy Orton, that's fucking ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's a boss that has absolutely no value in you. I'm not going to pair these guys with one of my biggest names. You fucking kidding me? Right? So that was a complete missed opportunity. I think the general consensus was that they look great together. I mean, they looked really, really great together. In a day and age where a lot of stables don't really make sense, just by the look of them, they just made sense. It was the veteran Randy Orton and the younger guys, right? In the Revival. It just fit. It was like a modern day fucking, I don't want to say Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr., but it kind of gave off that vibe in a little bit, right? So, I don't know, man. We can sit here and talk about that all day long. It was absolutely a missed opportunity. The top guys seem to be the new name that they're going to go with. At times in WWE, they will refer to themselves as top guys in promos. As previously noted, it looks like AEW is their destination because the lawyer who has been handling their trademarks is also the same lawyer that handles Cody Rhodes and all other AEW-related trademarks. This is great. I'm surprised that WWE didn't go petty with them. I really am surprised. I'm not surprised that they got released. I'm surprised that WWE is letting them go for an immediate release. That they did not want to play petty with them. And they could have easily let fucking one of their contracts, who was it? Dawson's deal was supposed to expire this month. They could have released him and let him go on his 90 days, right? and sit at home for 90 days. They could have waited until Wilder and his contract is up, and they could have released Wilder right before his contract was up. It wouldn't be the first time WWE did that. Now, I don't know if there's a clause in their contracts that forbid WWE doing that, but WWE obviously came to a level-headed decision. We're not using these guys. They haven't been on TV. They're just sitting at home. Why pay them? Let's get rid of them. Goodbye. You know? We tried, and we tried. We offered them more money on top of more money on top of more money. It ain't going nowhere. Just let them go. And that may be the reason why the Revival are on SmackDown. That may be the reason why we've seen the Forgotten Sons on SmackDown, because they obviously needed a replacement team for the Revival, being that they just got released earlier in the day. I'm happy. I am excited about a possible Revival or Top Guys feud with the Young Bucks. They're going to make a lot of money. They already got merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees or Barbershop Window, wherever they got, merchandise being sold. They already got merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees, and it's a great shirt. It's both of them in their wrestling gear, and they're holding what looks to be either the Raw or SmackDown tag team titles over their shoulders, and they blurred it out, obviously, and it's like disintegrating. It's like fading away. So it's a really fun-looking design, and these guys are going to be great. They're not going to be game changers. They're not going to move the needle. They're not going to bring AEW's ratings to over 1 million. But when things get back to normal, and I know that they will, and wrestling is back to being, normal and thriving again, when they debut in AEW and we see tag team wrestling the way we've seen it in AEW, you thought that Omega and Page match with the Bucks was great. Wait till you see how great the Revival and the Bucks are going to be. A lot of people are saying that they're boring, they're uncharismatic. WWE never let them be themselves for one reason or another. They didn't like either guy. They don't like tag team wrestling, blah, blah, blah. When they go to AEW, everybody that said that about them is going to have their mouths shut. Everybody that said that they were a boring tag team in the ring and there's nothing special about them, you will be shut up upon arrival in AEW. That will be an absolute tag team masterpiece. I am telling you right now. Nobody ever said anything negative about the Revival when they were doing their thing in NXT. Classics. Some of these matches that they put on with DIY will go down as the best tag team matches in the history of pro wrestling. From my point of view, anyway. But I think the general consensus is every match that they were in were a fucking classic. They brought classics out of Enzo and Cass. They brought classics out of American Alpha. They brought classics out of DIY. And it's going to be the same thing in AEW. And if you don't think they're going to try and top themselves, if you don't think they're going to have a renewed sense of just being free and wanting to prove WWE wrong, they've waited for this day for years. The one thing on their mind is going to be like, I'm going to prove to everybody in that fucking company that tag team wrestling needs to be this way, and you're missing the fucking boat. And we're better off for it. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Now, Dash Wilder unloaded on a fan on social media for saying Chad Gable has no charisma. Dash Wilder fired back on a fan on Twitter for saying I didn't read the tweet. He just simply said Chad Gable has no charisma. And Dash Wilder unloaded on this fan for saying Chad Gable has no charisma. Now, Gable, we all know, it's no secret, his gimmick is fucking terrible. Obviously, they are using it to belittle him, and they don't have any real plans for him. It was like, it was simply one of those things that is done in a way to show everybody how little they care about Chad Gable. And they're making fun and poking fun of his height in the process, trying to play it off as, oh, I'm fighting from behind, I'm confident in myself, I stand up for what I believe in, and all this other bullshit, right? So that's how they hide it, and that's how they fucking, play it off to the masses as if it's a good thing, but internally it's them burying him without the fans really realizing that. Now, it's no secret that Chad Gable should be higher up on the ladder in WWE. He would be a perfect mid-card guy, and there are reports that Vince McMahon likes him. I don't know to what extent. I don't know if I actually believe those reports, but He apparently doesn't see him as anything more than a lower card wrestler who wrestles at live events and on main event and occasionally appears on TV. The Twitter exchange happened when Wilder said the following about Gable. Chad Gable is a freak of nature. His natural talent is amazing, but somehow his discipline and work ethic surpasses that. Watching him from his first match in NXT until now is unbelievable. We've probably wrestled him literally hundreds of times by now, and he always makes us better. I went to a live show in Atlantic City at I think it was the Showboat, and they had a match with, or the Hard Rock or something like that. I don't know which one. I think it was the Hard Rock. And it was Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus The Revival. They let these guys go out there for close to half an hour and have a great tag team match. I was sitting amongst fucking kids and casuals and was fucking annoying, right? I think The Revival were tag team champions at the time. And, man, the level of work that The Revival and Gable have and the fucking beautiful art that they create, it's almost like magic, man. And when he says that about Gable, when Dash Wilder says that about Gable, I know, I see it. We've seen it firsthand at NXT. We've seen it on the main roster. I've seen it live at a house show. So a fan goes on Twitter and acts like a fucking stupid idiot, and he chimed in and says, Chad Gable has no charisma, unfortunately. So Wilder fired back and said, you're an absolute fool. He has more charisma in his pinky than most do in their whole body. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not there. No facts before speaking. Chad Gable is a freak of nature. His natural talent is amazing, but somehow his discipline and work ethic surpasses that. Watching him from his first match in NXT until now is unbelievable. And so on and so forth. What I just read to you before. I don't know when Gable's contract's up, but obviously he would fit perfect in AEW. And now he's got leverage in AEW with the Revival more than likely ending up in AEW. I think Chad Gable would fit beautifully on AEW. And it brings me to another point. It really brings me to another point. I've seen a lot of people on social media, and it just triggered something in my head talking about this, and Chad Gable potentially going over to AEW, now having leverage in the top guys, the Revival in AEW, because now he's got someone to vouch for him, right? Everybody on social media, everybody that was against the Revival being released, obviously these WWE elitists, these fucking brainwashed, brain-dead idiots. Oh, AEW's picking up another WWE talent. Or they're picking up more WWE talent. They're becoming TNA. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, look at the field of actual fucking legit talent that WWE has that they're not using. And if you're a rival promotion in AEW, why wouldn't you look at a Revival and bring them on in? Why wouldn't you look at a Matt Hardy and bring him in? Why wouldn't you look at a Luke Harper, Brody Lee, and bring him in? Why wouldn't you look at a Chad Gable and bring him in? If he is one of the most talented guys in the fucking industry, getting a shit hand dealt to him, why wouldn't you want that on your roster? I'm not saying for AEW to go out there and buy a No Way Jose and sign him to a deal, and a Zack Ryder and a Kurt Hawkins and a Jinder Mahal and a Mojo Rawley and a Dana Brooke and all these fucking waste of contracts on that roster. They won't do that. But who the fuck are you to tell AEW, or who the fuck are you to tell somebody else on social media that AEW is picking up WWE scraps? If you're a fan of these guys and know that they were dealt a shit creative hand, why wouldn't you want to see them picked up by an AEW and used to their full potential? Having AEW give them a new lease on life. I don't understand you people. I really don't get it. And if you look at WWE's roster, I discussed this already a couple weeks ago. How many of them are homegrown talent? I don't get it. If WWE never picked up Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan accumulated his career in Ring of Honor and New Japan, right, to become the Daniel Bryan he is now, would you blame WWE for picking up Daniel Bryan and bringing him on into the company? Look at everybody on WWE's roster. 80%, 90% of NXT is the independent scene. Their new guy, Killer Cross, where's he from? Impact, right? Look at Ricochet. Where did he make his name? On the indies. Seth Rollins, one of the biggest guys on Monday Night Raw. Where did he come from? He was an indie guy. Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, all these guys. Finn Balor. Where'd they come from? Were they homegrown talent? Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Apollo Crews. Where'd these guys come from? Where'd these guys come from? It's the same way in WWE's world. WWE is giving unknowns opportunity. It's the same thing as if AEW is giving WWE talents that were fucking buried and they haven't been given an opportunity. It's the same thing. They're signing and giving them the same fucking new lease on life, a new shine, a new polish that WWE would be doing if they signed a Ricochet to NXT. I don't get why you people make everything out to be WWE versus AEW. Why WWE something, it sucks. Why AEW does something, it sucks. That AEW signs the Revival. Oh, they're signing WWE rejects. I don't look at the Revival as rejects. I look at them as two men who never got the opportunity to prove how great they really were. And if you don't want to see them be as great as I know that they could be, fuck you. Fuck you. You're not for the betterment of pro wrestling. You just want what you want, and you don't want to see anybody else thrive or anybody else succeed because of your elitist ways. You're with one team and fuck the other. I don't give a fuck. I'll wear my AEW hoodie and my NXT fucking hat when I go to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. I don't give a shit. I proudly represent both because I love both. They both offer me something that a lot of other places do not offer. So sit the fuck down, shut up, and stop making everything out to be a fucking competition. You'd be dumb if you didn't look at the Revival and offer them a contract to come on into your company. Moving on here, guys. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns possibly missing WrestleMania. We're going to talk about how people in WWE don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns. And we got plans for the Cruiserweight Championship and the interim title being determined right now on Off the Script. Also, I got the Monday Night Raw stuff about Drew McIntyre and why he wrestled Big Show and what Ronda Rousey said in regards to the fans. Fuck the fans. And she called pro wrestling fake fighting, which triggered a lot of people in WWE. But first, guys, I want to make sure you guys are aware that Harry's is the #1 men's shaving brand in all of the industry. Harry's knows sometimes it's better to stay inside. That's why they ship directly to you, so you can now experience the quality of a Harry's shave in just a few days from the convenience of your own home. I love Harry. I've been using Harry's for close to 3 years now. I love it. It is a great shave. I love the glide of the blade. I never cut myself. It's the closest shave I've ever given myself. And I just love the look and the feel and the smell of their products. Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's today and claim your special trial offer by going to harrys.com/script. Harry's is a return to the essential quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per blade. They've cut out the middleman, manufacturing blades in their German blade factory that's been honing precision for a century, which means you get incredibly high-quality blades at factory direct prices. Harry's is also super convenient. Blade refills are delivered directly to your door on your schedule with or without a subscription, and you can feel good about your purchase. 100% quality guarantee, and if you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. Also, this is great as well, guys. 1% of proceeds are set aside for non-profit organizations devoted to helping provide access to better healthcare for men and veterans. Listeners of Off the Script can redeem their Harry's trial set by going to harrys.com/script. What you're going to get is the following: a weighted handle with a firm grip, 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Go to harrys.com/script to start shaving better today. And I want to thank them, as always, for being a good friend of the podcast right here on Off the Script. Continuing on with the podcast here, man. WWE is possibly upset at Roman Reigns for missing WrestleMania 36. And people in WWE don't know what's going on with Roman, if he's coming back at all. Now, I don't know why people are making this out to be a bigger deal than it really is. I don't know why people are jumping to conclusions that Roman Reigns is not coming back. I mean, all I wanted was, or all we wanted, I should say, I think a lot of people felt the same way that I did, is that we wanted an explanation as to why he wasn't there. No storyline thing was made up. Everybody's going to be wondering what happened. If WWE went about this in a creative way and gave us a fucking storyline reason as to why he was replaced at WrestleMania, I don't even think this would be a talking point. And now that he was just replaced and no explanation was given, and Braun Strowman's the Universal Champion when it should have been Roman Reigns, and they just kind of plugged him into that match, of course everybody's going to fucking question and wonder what's going on with Roman. Is he coming back? Is there heat on Roman Reigns? Is WWE upset at Roman Reigns? Is Roman Reigns upset at WWE? We don't know. We'll never know. But why would WWE be upset at Roman Reigns? If they are upset at Roman Reigns, it's as if they're blaming him for everything that happened for the lack of WrestleMania that we got. It's like they're blaming him for what's going on in the world. Oh, we're mad at Roman Reigns for not showing up at WrestleMania and not going through with his obligations. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Now, the story is, I've said this countless times, Roman showed up to work on Wednesday. He was ready to film his match with Goldberg, ready to go to work, ready to win the title, right? Miz showed up ill. They deemed it as him being hurt on SmackDown last night. Not sure if you guys caught that. Hurt. But he showed up to work ill. He was sent home. He was in quarantine. Now, the Miz was ill. That meant the Usos got upset because they were supposed to be in a WrestleMania match together. Or they were supposed to perform that night, right? And they did. But they were going to be in a triple threat tag team match at WrestleMania. The Usos got upset, which prompted Roman to get upset, which prompted Roman to be so upset, he pulled out of the match because of the irresponsibility, I assume, of WWE to allow this guy to be sick and ill and work WrestleMania in the same ring that I'm working in, even though I have a weakened immune system. So that's the going story. So Roman said, listen, I'm pulling out for my own reasons. You either like it or you don't. WWE already said that nobody's going to be penalized. Triple H came out, publicly said nobody's going to be penalized if they feel uncomfortable for working. The spots of those talents that don't want to work will be right there when everything gets back to normal. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? But WWE possibly being upset at Roman Reigns for missing WrestleMania, I mean, give me a break. I mean, that's a little outlandish, even for Roman Reigns and someone like me who doesn't really like the Roman Reigns character. That's a little outlandish for me to go on here and, rant about. Obviously, I'm going to side with Roman Reigns. Now, on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer speculated that WWE may be unhappy with Roman Reigns for pulling out of the show. This is what Meltzer said, and I quote, "Maybe they're mad at Roman, and they have no right to be. It's either they're mad at him or they're just trying to hide it as much as they can, and they don't want to deal with it." End quote. Now, of course, there's no word on if WWE higher-ups are actually upset with Roman Reigns for pulling out of the show, as this is just Meltzer speculating. However, I really don't think that WWE is going to hold this against Roman Reigns, as he made the right decision for himself and his family. And if WWE is upset about it, clearly they're going to hide it, because if they show any animosity towards Roman Reigns, then publicly that's going to be a nightmare in the middle of whatever's going on if they are upset that Roman didn't work. That would be a fucking social media PR nightmare for WWE, and they don't want any of that. Now, like I said, WWE didn't provide any reason why Roman Reigns was taken out of the Universal Championship match. He was featured in all of the promotional material, And he was even in the opening package for WrestleMania. No mention of Reigns was made during the event. No mention of Reigns was mentioned on SmackDown. It was noted that there might be something going on between Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns. Now, sources in the community have uncovered that if there's any heat between Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon, then it's not being talked about. If there is heat between them, it's not being talked about. McMahon isn't talking about it, and if there is any kind of issue, it's between them. Roman Reigns explained why he didn't work WrestleMania. He said that nobody knows the real story. He said that, and obviously you say something like that, obviously it's going to get people speculating and talking. Nobody knows the real story. He also said that he's got a lot of time to think about how he wants to treat people and how he wants to be treated. Reigns is going around and saying these type of things. Like I said, obviously it's going to get people to speculate. He obviously has elderly in his family. He's got children in his family. If you add in the risks of his leukemia, it is a risk he wasn't going to take. We'll have to see what happens when he does make his way back to WWE TV. And, of course, he will be back on WWE TV. Now, people in WWE don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns. Meltzer added this and was asked on Twitter if Reigns will be out for the rest of the year because of the outbreak concerns. Meltzer responded, "No idea. I've asked, and even people high up in WWE don't know." That's all he said. And that is the extent of all of this. So, I don't know why people are making this out to be a bigger deal than it really is. Roman Reigns is going to do what's best for Roman Reigns. You know, I still stand behind what I said. He showed up to work on Wednesday. If The Miz didn't show up ill and that didn't prompt him to get upset, he'd still be the Universal Champion, or he would be the Universal Champion walking out of WrestleMania. He would have worked that show. So, ideally, how much of his health was a priority? Meanwhile, he should have been locking himself down and taking precautions 2 or 3 weeks before the taping of WrestleMania was actually supposed to take place on that Wednesday, a Wednesday in which he showed up to work. So if his health was a main priority, then it was something that should have been taken into a priority 2 or 3 weeks before that. Now, did it become a realization that, you know what, maybe I am doing the wrong thing when Miz was there and he said, you know what, I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this today. I was going to go through with it, but, you know, everything needed to be fucking perfect. And I'm not seeing a perfect situation here for me. I'm actually risking myself. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then Reigns is also thinking about, obviously, his family at home. He's obviously thinking about what he means to WWE television. Do I got to still put myself through that? What am I really missing here? You know, if I'm on WWE TV during this time, what am I really doing? I don't want to make assumptions for Roman Reigns, but I'm just telling you what I would be thinking if I was Roman Reigns. Obviously, his health, his family, his kids, his wife, and everybody in his family going to be a priority. But if I'm Roman Reigns, I'm thinking, if I go through with this and I am the Universal Champion, clearly they're going to need me. Clearly they're going to need me on SmackDown. What is me, being the Universal Champion on SmackDown, going to add to the show additionally? What am I going to do to enhance and help the show in the middle of what's going on right now, when even though the company is saying, oh, we're producing content to take the minds or take people's minds off of what's going on and really bring happiness to people and give people an escape, is it really going to end up being that? Because if I'm Roman Reigns and I'm on the show and I'm risking myself in this pandemic and I see the ratings getting lower and lower and lower, I'm going to question myself just based off that. What do you need me here for? And why are you putting me in this big role if I'm not making the show better, if I'm not enhancing the show? It's just like me going through the motions and I'm coming to work and I'm doing my job, but I'm not really taking care of myself, and you certainly aren't looking out for me as well either. To be honest with you, Roman Reigns being off the show, I don't know that he's gone. I don't really give a shit that he's gone. The shows are not worse with Roman gone. They're not better when he's there. So why not? If he wants to make an executive decision, who's going to hold it against him? If WWE wants to come out and blast Roman Reigns for missing WrestleMania, missing the biggest show of the year, and missing a top spot as champion and giving up a championship, then do it. It's going to end up backfiring. Every single human being, knowing this story, is going to side with Roman Reigns and not side with WWE, and they already got enough problems on their plate as it is. Just leave Roman Reigns alone and let Roman Reigns do what he's got to do. You're not missing Roman Reigns. Roman's not adding anything to these shows when he's there. Having Roman Reigns not there is not making the shows worse. Give me a break. Give me a break. If Roman Reigns wants to stay home, let him stay home. It's fucking Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes from a family, an elite family that has incredible ties to the WWE. Roman knows he's got a nice security blanket around him, and I'm sure his family had pressured him into making this decision as well. You don't think he talked to his family about this? You don't think the family talked to Vince McMahon about this? You know Vince is going to be a businessman. He needs all hands on deck for what he wants to do, but there's not going to be any relationship being tarnished between the Anoa'i family and the Samoan dynasty and WWE. It's not going to happen. Roman's got a nice security blanket around himself. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. He could fucking be at home, chilling, taking it easy, letting this thing ride out, letting it pass, and come back to work right when everything is going to get better and walk right in and have his spot waiting for him just as it was. It's not going to do anything to Roman. And WWE's not going to do anything to tarnish the relationship with that family at all either. You know, just because of what they continue to provide to WWE and what they have meant to the WWE. And all of the lineage that, if they piss off that family, everybody in that family is going to react the same way. So WWE is in a lose-lose situation here. Having Roman on the show means nothing. It means nothing. Do what you got to do. This opened up a new opportunity for Braun Strowman. Go ahead. Try and build Braun Strowman up as a legit guy, as an elite guy in this company. They already are off to a wrong fucking start. They're off on the wrong foot. This is an opportunity where you can create your next Roman Reigns. Will WWE do that? Of course not. They'll just wait for everything to get back to normal and then give us the same fucking formulaic garbage television that we're getting now. Maybe even worse. So take it easy with the Roman Reigns bullshit. He will be back. He will more than likely be back when things get back to normal, and he will be the Universal Champion because that was in the plans in WrestleMania. And if you don't think WWE is going to want to go back to that, whether they like Roman or not, or agree with him or not for missing WrestleMania, you're a fool. He will be right where he should have been, no matter how long he wants to be out. End of story. Michael Cole, he received a promotion. Oh, joy, oh, joy. Michael Cole receives a promotion within WWE. He's been with WWE for 23 years. Now he has received a promotion and a new title of Vice President of Announcing. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported the news earlier in the week, also stating that the promotion took place several weeks ago. There you go. So what is this? What does this mean for Michael Cole that he got a new promotion in WWE? From what I see and from what I heard, Michael Cole has been in charge of all the announcers, new, old, upcoming, or whatnot. Michael Cole's been in charge of the announcing and what the announcing needs to do and how the announcing needs to sound for as long as he's been there. Michael Cole has been in this role anyway. All this is Michael Cole now kind of doing the role without actually having the title. Now it's Michael Cole doing the role with the actual title behind it. He's now Vice President of Announcing. So Michael Cole and his position in WWE did not change. It's merely him now getting an official title for the position that he's always been doing. So I don't know why people are making a big deal about, oh, Michael Cole got a promotion. It might mean more pay with the new title now being official. It might mean a little bit more pay. Good for him. But he's been in the position of Vice President of Announcing without actually having the official title. That's all I'm going to say on that. When is he going to go? 23 years? I give him the fucking credit for being in Vince McMahon company for 23 years. I give him credit for having Vince McMahon in his fucking headset for 23 fucking years. I don't know how anybody could fucking do that and still be a normal human being at the end of it. But 23 years, bro. Let's find the next Michael Cole. And I don't think it's fucking Tom Phillips. I really don't. Plans to crown an interim cruiserweight champion. I like this. And I will dive into this and really give you my opinion on what I think WWE should do as far as this concept goes. I love it. I love it. NXT General Manager William Regal announced on Wednesdays, WWE The Bump. They should bump it off the fucking YouTube channel. That an interim NXT Cruiserweight Champion will be crowned as title holder Jordan Devlin of NXT UK is unable to defend his championship due to current circumstances. You guys know what those circumstances are. Now the format of the tournament has been revealed. WWE.com had the following to say. 8 superstars will be split into 2 groups of 4. Superstars will compete against each other, and they will compete against each of the 3 members of their group. The superstar with the best record in each group will advance to the championship match. Any ties will be broken by a head-to-head record. The winner of Group A will face the winner of Group B to determine the new the new interim NXT Cruiserweight Champion. The full groups will be revealed on WWE's social media platforms, if not already. So the tournament will begin on NXT this Wednesday on the USA Network. Kind of sounds like the G1. Kind of sounds like WWE's taking the round-robin format from the G1 Climax. Why is this so easy for WWE to do in NXT, but this level of creativity and this level of fun and this level of epicness and this level of simplicity, which would be great for WWE Creative, why does none of this happen on the main roster? Is somebody able to tell me that? I would love if WWE took Group A and Group B and took 8 from Raw and 8 from SmackDown and made a round-robin fucking tournament and had it all through the month of July and called it King of the Ring. Not only would all of WWE television mean something throughout the entire month of July, but it could bleed on into August, and then with 2 or 3 weeks left before SummerSlam, we would get a number 1 contender for the Universal or the WWE Championship. Now, you could make it a Raw superstar. Obviously, he could challenge for the WWE Championship, or the SmackDown guy who wins could challenge for the Universal Championship. Or it could be one of those situations where either one of those guys win it from a Raw or SmackDown, and they can challenge for whatever championship you want. Whether it's Bray being challenged by a Raw superstar or Drew McIntyre being challenged by a SmackDown star, the level of unpredictability, the level of epicness would be great. You bring 8 guys on the Raw side and 8 guys on the SmackDown side, and you build matches on weekly TV, and that's all you see. You get your women's action in there, you get your tag team action in there on the shows, but the shows would be built around that, and the shows would have meaning, the shows would be important, and everything that you see on TV is going to lend itself to that tournament. And then you can crown King of the Ring on a very special edition of Raw or SmackDown or wherever you want this thing to take place. And the winner of that match, or the pay-per-view, whatever pay-per-view you got in July, or whatever the fuck you want to do. But I would do it on weekly TV. And the winner of that is the King of the Ring and number 1 contender for SummerSlam. How easy. How easy. How fun. How simple. How different. Right? WWE did nothing with the King of the Ring this year. They gave you 16 fucking guys. I appreciated the effort. I love the fucking concept. They did nothing with it. They gave Corbin a shitty fucking gimmick and nothing else. What did he win by winning King of the Ring? Oh, I got a fucking crown. I got a scepter. I got a fucking cape. And I got a shit gimmick and a feud with Roman Reigns for 7 months. And I still look like a fucking loser. Why is this so easy for NXT to do with 8 guys, and WWE has all of these fucking men and women on the roster you can't do anything with? I love it. I love it. Will I be watching NXT for this round-robin interim cruiserweight tournament? Of course I will, because I love tournaments. Tournaments make me happy. What also makes me happy is the fact that Raw draws a terrible post-WrestleMania rating. What else is new? What else is new, bro? Monday's post-WrestleMania edition of Raw, featuring the fallout from WrestleMania 36, averaged 2.118 million viewers on the USA Network. That's according to Showbuzz Daily. Now, this is up 10% from the previous week of 1.924 million viewers for the Performance Center episode, or the third Performance Center episode, which was the new second lowest non-holiday Raw viewership in history. This is also the third lowest Raw viewership of the year. For this week's show, the first hour drew 2.31 million viewers. Last week's hour one was a 2.139. The second hour drew a 2.063 million. Last week's hour two did a 1.986 million. And the final hour drew a 1.925 million. Last week's hour three was a 1.646. So the 17% drop from hour one to hour three was not as bad as the prior 2 weeks, which had drops of 23 to 24%. It was down 28% from the post-WrestleMania 35 edition of Raw last year, which drew 2.923 million viewers. That episode was up 11% from the go-home show last year and ranked number 2 for the night in cable in viewership and number 1 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The post-WrestleMania 35 Raw was down 25% from the post-WrestleMania 34 Raw in 2018, which drew 3.921 million viewers. Where are all of these people going? Where have they gone? Look at the fucking gap. My God. 2.118 million for this post-Raw WrestleMania show. And the WrestleMania 34 Raw was 3.921 million viewers for WrestleMania 34. Unbelievable. That's scary. That's some scary fucking shit. Now, I know people's habits have changed on how they watch TV, and they watch more fucking YouTube and this and that, and DVR, has been amped up. But holy shit, man. What the fuck are they doing? Honestly, what are they doing? They don't look at that and find any fucking concern. They don't find any fucking problem. What are we doing wrong? Where did everybody go? How can we do it better? What should we change? I don't really understand it. Monday Night Raw was insufferable. It was fucking insufferable. We had a fucking segment that lasted 1 hour with the Street Profits against Garza and Austin Theory that turned into a fucking tag team match, a women's match, and then a 6-person match in 1 hour. I'm supposed to fucking sit there and, Raw, they tried. They're entertaining. Us be grateful. You fucking serious? And then on top of that, we get Drew McIntyre and The Big Show, which was in the main event of Raw, which was taped at WrestleMania. That was the main event segment on Monday Night Raw. So you got Drew McIntyre's title reign off to a horrendous start. Why Drew McIntyre wrestled The Big Show at WrestleMania? Everybody's asking, did Drew McIntyre wrestle The Big Show in the main event, or did he wrestle Brock Lesnar? Did The Big Show really wrestle in the main event of WrestleMania 36 in 2020? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not sure what you guys watched, but it was taped at WrestleMania. The big WrestleMania logo was right there behind fucking Tom Phillips. There was a WrestleMania fucking stage with the big screen, with the WrestleMania logo. There was WrestleMania on the LED ring aprons. There was a WrestleMania turnbuckle pad. Everybody was in suits and fucking ties on commentary. Fuck you talking about it's not at WrestleMania? It of course was at WrestleMania. What are you, blind? The Big Show versus Drew McIntyre was the main event of WrestleMania. If it wasn't the main event of WrestleMania, then WWE would have never had a cameraman filming, and they would have never shown you. The best one was, it was a dark match. It was a dark match. I don't know if you guys know the understanding of a fucking dark match, but a dark match is something that the cameras aren't filming and you don't see. So how was it a dark match? There were cameras there, and they filmed at WrestleMania to show you on Monday Night Raw. They used this as a way to build intrigue on a show that they knew they didn't have any intrigue on. So spare me the fucking bullshit and spare me you defending the fucking company in this situation yet again. I am tired of these analysts and these elitists and these wrestle geeks. It was the main event of WrestleMania, and it was absolutely unnecessary. The best thing I think I heard outside the dark match, it was the dark match. I don't know what the fuck you're watching. Was there a Monday Night Raw logo? Seriously. It happened at WrestleMania. The best thing of all about this was, it solidified Drew McIntyre's title reign. You mean a win over the Big Show, a guy who's been off TV for the better part of 3 years, right? Who's had his legitimacy fucking dwindle into nothing because he's an inactive performer, right? You mean to tell me that you're using the Big Show in this role to enhance the fact that Drew McIntyre is a dominating force, as if beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, Claymore kicking him, and then laying in the mat is Brock Lesnar selling the effects of the Claymore kick as if it's death. Having the Big Show lose to Drew McIntyre is a way to further enhance over that particular scenario that I just laid out for you. Are you that fucking mental? Are you that brainwashed? Now, we all seen the advertisements. The Big Show's got a Netflix show, The Big Show Show. Now, I'm curious to see how fucking terrible this is. I might actually go watch it sometime this weekend. But the only reason why he was there was for the Netflix show and to push that fucking show. And WWE's obviously going to hide it behind, we're just enhancing the fact that Drew McIntyre is a monster in WWE and as WWE champ. I didn't need that exclamation point. Everybody knew going in that Drew McIntyre was a deserved champion who never got a fucking opportunity, who did not need the extra bells and whistles to sell me on how over and how legit and how much of a monster Drew McIntyre is. Beating the Big Show in 2020 is not the same effect of beating the Big Show in 1998, okay? So for that fact alone, you're automatically disqualified from having any fucking counter argument coming at me about this bullshit. You're automatically disqualified. Shut up. It happened at WrestleMania. It wasn't the main event of Monday Night Raw. It happened at WrestleMania. And having Drew McIntyre against Big Show in the main event of WrestleMania actually started his title reign off in the worst possible way. I've been sitting here claiming it's all in the follow-up. What did WWE do? They proved me right again. If they're so willing to bring out the Big Show, who the fuck is going to show up on Monday and be the first title defense on Drew McIntyre's resume? Just think about that. If they're so lax about trotting out the Big Show, then who do you think they got lined up first? Jesus Christ, do you even want to fucking contemplate that thought? My God. Why did Drew McIntyre wrestle the Big Show at WrestleMania? Well, PW Insider is reporting that they wanted to portray McIntyre as a star just by defeating Big Show after working a match against Brock Lesnar. And the sad thing is, the match itself was better than what we seen with McIntyre and Lesnar and Goldberg and Strowman. It was more of a main event. Here's another fucking point that I'm going to make. It was more of a main event than the two actual main events that we see for both major championships. The fact that they trotted out the Big Show in the main event of WrestleMania in 2020 goes to show you that WWE did not give a single fucking shit, an iota of a shit about this WrestleMania. That is absolutely fucking sad. That is sad. If you're booking this WrestleMania and thinking, well, I'm going to do Drew McIntyre versus the Big Show, automatically, from that statement alone, I can tell that you don't give a fuck. Awful. Absolutely fucking terrible. Kurt Angle, he was in the news. Drew McIntyre is the new guy and needs to excel this year. And I need to hit the fucking lottery and I need to move to a fucking remote island all to myself and drink a fucking cold beverage out of a coconut 4 times a day. That's what I need to do. Unreal. He's the new guy and needs to excel this year. No shit. No shit. He should have excelled 3 years ago. McIntyre had his crowning moment when he dethroned Brock Lesnar. According to Angle, McIntyre becoming the top guy in the company on the Raw brand is good as fans have somebody new in the main event role. They got someone new in the main event role, folks. That's like me owning an ice cream shop and putting a new flavor into the fucking freezer, right? And then I got people coming in and everybody fucking eats through the ice cream, and the ice cream that I just put in there is now gone after a couple of days, maybe a week, right? And then I replace it with another new flavor. All Drew McIntyre is the new flavor of the month. How long before WWE makes him seem like everybody else not named Roman? Unbelievable. They're always going to go back to what they do best. They're going to go back to their tried and true. Drew McIntyre's in this thing right now as a test. They didn't want to give Drew McIntyre the fucking main event of WrestleMania and the WWE title. This is a fucking test. If he has a successful title reign that WWE actually makes into something great, I'd be fucking floored. I'd be floored. This is WWE giving McIntyre a test run. The question is, how long before they get bored? How long before Vince McMahon takes his new fucking champion, his new toy, and puts him back on the shelf and takes one of his older toys and puts him in that main event spot? That's all I'm waiting for. We finally have someone new in the main event, and that's Drew McIntyre, said Angle. He is a breath of fresh air for WWE. Now you don't need to continuously keep going back to Roman, Cena, Brock. Drew's the new guy, and he needs to excel this year. That's what he says. So, yeah, anybody could say that, and anybody could say, yeah, you know what? Angle's right. But what is WWE legitimately going to do? They will do what they always do, fail. It's always in the follow-up, folks, and if the follow-up was the Big Show, and the first thing we seen was the Big Show, I have absolutely zero faith in this company doing anything right with Drew McIntyre. I give this guy till SummerSlam, and we'll all be collectively thinking, you know what, this is a failure, get the title off of him, and everybody's going to be saying, oh, this guy needs to drop the championship, and then you got the other fucking side of the community, there are a bunch of fucking half-witted, brain-dead fucking clowns. Oh, the wrestling community wanted this, and now they're turning their back on Drew McIntyre. No, motherfucker, this is me being frustrated with WWE Creative. It has nothing to do with Drew McIntyre. They failed him, and they will fail him. Watch. And I'll be sitting here with my fucking Becky Lynch meme glasses on, with a cold beverage, laughing, telling you I told you so. It's gonna happen, believe me. Brock Lesnar got a lot of praise for what he did with Drew McIntyre. Brock Lesnar's been getting a lot of praise for what he did at WrestleMania, and one of the people giving him the most praise is Drew McIntyre himself. Dave Meltzer noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that McIntyre has been publicly and privately praising Lesnar for the job he did in putting him over. Now, the reason why this is happening was because Sports Illustrated conducted an interview with Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre told a story about Lesnar from a few years ago when McIntyre was part of the 3MB group. This was when McIntyre's career was going nowhere, and this was before, obviously, he was just released from the WWE. McIntyre said that Lesnar was booked to destroy all 3 members of 3MB after a segment on Raw. Lesnar approached McIntyre after it was all over and asked why he was being put in that situation. McIntyre said, Lesnar pulled me aside and he straight up asked me, why are you involved in this? He was so confused, but he saw something in me and believed in me. It's pretty crazy all of these years later. I was the guy to take the title from him at WrestleMania. Brock is a man's man. He won't do business with you if he thinks you're not doing the job you should be doing. Brock is a very private person. He doesn't like people too much, but he's all about respect. To have earned his respect means a lot to me. According to one person in WWE, Lesnar was great to work with during the WrestleMania tapings, and he didn't seem bothered by having to work inside an empty performance center. The source told other people in the community that Lesnar treated it as another day in the office. Goes to show you how just Lesnar is, everybody says, oh, Lesnar's boring and Lesnar's this and Lesnar's that. Do I agree he needs to be WWE champion every fucking year? No, I don't think that's the case at all. But to say Brock Lesnar doesn't do his job well, you're a fool. You're a fool. That kind of made me say, you know what? I always had that feeling about Brock, but it's nice to feel, when you're listening to that and reading that, it's nice to feel that Brock isn't as bad as everybody says he is and isn't as lazy as everybody says he is. He's a fucking professional. And I love the fact, I respect Brock Lesnar immensely just by the simple fact that he's a man's man. He won't do business with you if he thinks you're not going to do the job you should be doing. And the fact that he's a private person and you got to earn his respect. I love that. I really do. So that was nice of Drew McIntyre to say, and that goes to show you the character that Drew McIntyre is as well. A very humble, down-to-earth, just respectful individual who knows how it is to work his ass off and get to the top of the mountain just by the hard work that you put in. And when you get there, based on all that, it feels fucking great. It must have been fucking great. Not only to believe that you had it in you all along, to finally get there, win the title, and then have someone like Brock Lesnar put you over and deem you the fucking man. Did he do that with Seth? Did he do that with Roman? I don't think so, but he did it with Drew. That's what makes Drew McIntyre stand out more than Rollins and Roman. But again, I don't think WWE is going to do him any favors. It could be a good thing for McIntyre in the end if Brock has so much stock in him, because why would they go against what Brock says? But at the end of the day, it's not Brock's word. It's not Brock's decision. It's Vince McMahon's decision. So we'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens with McIntyre. It's all in the build-up, and I don't think that they're going to do McIntyre any good just based off their previous track records on Monday Night Raw. When did WWE decide to move Apollo Crews to Monday Night Raw? Now, I found this to be incredibly odd. On Monday Night Raw, we've seen Apollo Crews and Aleister Black in a 27-minute match, 20 minutes longer than Aleister Black's match with Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Now, before I even rant on this, I want to say, it's great. It's great that Apollo Crews got an opportunity on Monday Night Raw to showcase what the fucking guy can do. In the ring, the guy is great. I've known this. WWE has not. But how are you going to sell me on, and how are you going to get me to care about a 27-minute Apollo Crews match in which I know the guy's fucking great? How are you going to sell me on a 27-minute Apollo Crews match when the guy's been in catering for 4 years, hasn't done a goddamn fucking thing on the main roster for 4 years, and now you want me to somehow be all in at the poker table on Apollo Crews because he got 27 minutes on Monday Night Raw? What about the 4 years that he spent off of TV, away from everybody's eyes and ears, just wasting away? Does anybody take that into consideration? Why are you so easily persuaded? Oh, he got an opportunity. Be happy that he got an opportunity. Why didn't he get this fucking opportunity 4 years ago? Now you want me to fucking care. Now you want me to care in a situation where they have a bare bones crew and they chose the one guy that they know could go 27 minutes with Aleister Black. Now you want me to care. If WWE cared, Apollo would have been Intercontinental Champion. Apollo would have been tag team champion, Apollo would have had a fucking greater influence in the King of the Ring. Something. This guy has accumulated a career of nothing in the WWE, and now you want me to fucking care because he went 27 minutes and had a great match with Aleister Black. Tell me something I don't fucking know. Tell me something I don't know. I'm struggling with the fact of how you want me to fucking care. And then WWE, in their typical ways, didn't even explain why Apollo ended up on Monday Night Raw. Oh, an expired draft pick. An expired draft pick. That's your reasoning? Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, I believe, went to SmackDown via the draft, if I'm not mistaken, via a fucking draft pick or something like that. Draft pick considerations. They were drafted to Raw, and then they got traded to SmackDown via a draft pick, a future draft pick consideration. You think I remember that. I remember that. Does WWE fucking remember that? Obviously not. Do they expect the other fucking blithering idiots watching the show to remember that? Of course not. I do, though. Was that brought up as the reason on Monday Night Raw? Of course not. Of course not. They didn't really dive into that explanation. That's too much. It's too much information for everybody watching the TV. So they said, due to an expiring draft pick, we picked up Apollo Crews on Monday Night Raw. They didn't even have to go into that. You could use something a little bit more fresh. What about Mojo Rawley? Mojo Rawley showed up on SmackDown Live because Rob Gronk wants to embarrass himself and dance down the aisle on his debut night on SmackDown. Mojo was there to make the announcement and then show up for Rob Gronk's debut. All you had to say was, Mojo was on Monday Night Raw for most of 2020, and we traded him over to SmackDown for Apollo Crews. It's all you had to do and say. And we got absolutely nothing. Nothing. Holy shit. Why am I sitting here doing your job and I'm not getting paid to do it? I'd love to know. I think I would fucking blow people's minds in creative. How the fuck do you remember that? Why are you putting so much stock in making this make sense? It's only Apollo Crews. Yeah, you want me to fucking care about Apollo Crews, right? You want me to care about Apollo Crews, yet they can't give me a fucking explanation as to why this guy's on the fucking show. Real fucking care. When the company doesn't fucking care, why do you expect me to fucking care? PW Insider is reporting that the decision to move Crews to Raw was made last week. Black and Crews actually filmed their match on Friday, April 3rd. This is several days before the rest of the Raw content was taped. The decision to move Apollo to Raw was made last week. His match with Aleister Black was taped last Friday, separate from the rest of the Raw taping for last week's show. Prior to his match with Black, Apollo had only worked 6 matches on SmackDown in 2020, the last of which was in the beginning of March against Sheamus, in which he was buried in 1 minute. And I believe they actually put him in a handicap match with Gable against Sheamus as well, and they still got destroyed. Please, I'd love for somebody to explain to me why I should care. I don't. Nia Jax. Good old Nia Jax, right? Everybody's favorite wrestler, says nobody ever. If you're a Nia Jax fan, if Nia Jax is your favorite wrestler, man, you have some mental deficiency going on up top. I really believe that. I really believe that. Did you know that WWE social media account says that her debut back was a highly anticipated return? Highly anticipated to who? Who? I'd love for you to find me these people so I could have a fucking word with them and then slap the fucking taste out of their mouth for being fucking stupid. Former WWE star, Paige. Is she a former WWE star? I guess so. Yeah, active in-ring performer. I guess she's still a WWE personality. She hosted a Twitch stream along with Nia Jax, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Renee Young, and Natalya. Everybody outside of Renee Young, man. This is the less than charismatic group of WWE's women's roster. And Nia Jax was there, and she was very keen to discuss a certain subject. She spoke about Alexa Bliss, who, outside of the kayfabe world, is Nia Jax's best friend, and explained that she once complained to WWE management as Alexa was consistently being hurt by someone in the ring. Now, at first thought, I thought this was Sasha Banks, because Alexa and Sasha, I know for a fact that they can't stand each other. But it was obviously somebody else that she did not name drop here, but it ended up being Ronda Rousey. I remember when Bliss, not saying anything, specifically because she wanted to be a team player, she was so nervous. She wanted to be a team player. She didn't want to be somebody who's like, oh, I can't do this. But me, personally, from the outside looking in, I was so angry. I was like, no, she cannot do this anymore. I personally would not allow her to get back in the ring to get hurt again. I had to go to the higher-ups and I had to put a foot down, a stern foot, and say, look, Alexa is 5 feet nothing, 100 pounds, being thrown around like a little rag doll and being injured every night. I was like, put me in. I'm a 6 foot, 300 pound bitch. I can handle it. That's what she said. She went on to say that she wants Alexa to be able to wrestle for years to come. Alexa to wrestle for years to come, a nightmare indeed. And that she won't be able to do that if she's getting hurt every night. While Jax didn't mention any names, Alexa Bliss has publicly spoken about being hurt during her feud with Ronda Rousey in 2018. It was a feud dominated by Ronda and her MMA in-ring style, and Alexa took almost 100% of the offense. Natalya, who helped train Ronda, was on the stream too, so she did not really elaborate or go into further detail on Nia Jax's comments. There is so much wrong with this. There is so much wrong with this. First of all, why did anybody in that company think it would be right for Alexa Bliss to be one of the first women in the division to be in the ring with Ronda Rousey? First of all, that's a mistake in itself. Number one, you merely did it because Alexa Bliss, in management's eyes, is above everybody else, and I don't know why, outside of a new fucking set of tits and a nice ass, and the fact that she's blonde. And if you want to criticize me for that, go right ahead. There was no reason, outside of those reasons, why she was in the ring first, with a Ronda Rousey, outside of Natalya, outside of Sasha, outside of anybody. Outside of a Becky, outside of a Charlotte, Alexa was the first one. You mean to tell me that that is the one match that WWE management and fans were just fucking salivating over? Give me a break. First of all, Alexa Bliss shouldn't even be in the fucking ring. She sucks at her job, number one. She is a terrible in-ring performer. You can boast about her gymnastics and her athletic background. That does not mean you're a good professional wrestler. I don't give a fuck where you came from as far as athletics and gymnastics. Just go ask Ricochet what he deals with on a daily basis. They don't even call him a pro wrestler. It's all about, it's nice gymnast background you got there, bro. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. Alexa and Ronda in the ring is a fucking comedy show. And then Nia Jax, of all people, has the fucking balls to go up to management and say to people, oh, Alexa is getting hurt. She's being thrown around like a rag doll. And I don't want to have her get back in the ring. And she's talking about people getting hurt. Are you fucking serious? Nia Jax almost fucking killed Charlotte Flair. Nia Jax almost killed Sasha Banks. Nia Jax almost fucking completely derailed Becky Lynch's run. She broke Becky Lynch's nose. Nia Jax is a fucking fumbling fool in the ring, is anything but a pro wrestler, and she has injured or potentially fucking injured more people in this division than anybody actively in the division currently. And here's the kicker, folks. She's got the fucking gall to complain about Ronda Rousey, the same Ronda Rousey that brought Nia Jax to the best match of her complete in-ring career? Spare me, Nia. Spare me, Nia. If there's anybody out there that is going to be talking about injuring people and defending those that were injured, it should not be you. It should not be you. You talk about Alexa not being in the ring. Nia Jax doesn't even deserve a mat to stand on. She is fucking god-awful. Having her back on TV makes the shows worse. Having her back on TV makes the division worse than it currently is. And how that's even fucking possible, I don't know. Spare me the fucking bullshit. Nia Jax has injured more people than anyone else currently on that active roster, yet she's defending for Alexa Bliss, or defending Alexa Bliss in this case, against a Ronda Rousey that brought Nia Jax to the best match of her career. Nobody sees a problem in that, though. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Speaking of Ronda, Ronda rips WWE fans, says she helped push the women as far as she could. She said this on the Steve-O podcast. People are triggered by this. This is bringing out people like Alexa and fucking people in WWE who chimed in on her fake fight. This was said already. This was said already, and she played you. I love WWE, she says. I had such a great time. I love all the girls in the locker room. Like, hell yeah, running out there and having, like, fake fights for fun is just the best thing. You know? So you know she's getting under people. She knows what she's saying. Give me a break. I love choreography. I love acting. I love theater. It's live theater and some of the last forms of live theater, and it's so fun. But I was doing it basically part-time, and I was away from home over 200 days a year, and when I did get home, I was so sleep-deprived because you just don't have the time to lay down. My back is broke, so my bottom vertebrae is like broken in half. Then she goes on to say this. Rousey she said that she found out that her back was broke before she got to the WWE. I would be taking all of these different kinds of bumps and stuff, and I would basically, when I was home, I would have to be laying on the bed with my legs elevated and the heat pack under my back with a Tempur-Pedic pillow under my neck because I have degenerative disc disorder in my neck. Rousey said she was always trying to recover when she had time off at home and she was on the road doing live shows. It is true that she did some live events, but she was not working a full-time schedule like most of the WWE wrestlers. Rousey continued, if I did all of the live shows, I was only home a day and a half and a week. It is just not worth it for me and my family because we were eliminating all of our expenses and living this lifestyle. We didn't need it. We didn't need the money. So it's just like, what am I doing it for if I'm not being able to spend my time and my energy on my family, but instead spending my time and my energy on a bunch of fucking ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me? The thing is, I love performing. I love the girls. I love being out there. But at the end of the day, I was just like, fuck these fans, dude. My family loves me and they appreciate me, and I want all my energy to go into them. That was my decision at the end of the day. It's like, hey, girls, love what you're doing. I was going to try it and take all my momentum and push you guys as far as I can. Fly, little birds, fly. I'm going fucking home, and that was basically it. If I ever do come back, it will not be a full-time capacity ever again. She said she would like to return for chunks of time and not for 200 days a year on the road. Again, Ronda never worked 200 days a year for WWE. She worked a total of 70 matches from 2018 and 2019. She was asked about the pay structure in WWE for wrestlers and said that WWE pay is more secure than combat sports. She named Corey Graves as someone who was transitioned into an announcer when his career ended due to concussions. And that was that. So, obviously, she triggered WWE women with the fake comments. Alexa Bliss is taking issue with Ronda Rousey's comments about pro wrestling being fake. So, Lana also fired back. Alexis said that she was hurt. And, yeah, my injuries were real fake. And Lana fired back at Rousey's comments. And now Alexa Bliss is taking aim at her on Twitter. Ronda Rousey said the following. Lana said the following about Ronda Rousey. I have no words for her audacity to save fake fighting. If it's fake, why can't at Real Page and at TJ Wilson, why can't they wrestle anymore? If it's fake, why couldn't Edge wrestle for 11 years? It was 9 years. This is a contact sport where real things happen. So that's what Lana said. And then Alexa Bliss tweeted, was out for almost a year. Must have been fake. Yeah, you were out for concussion reasons and you were out for enhancement reasons. So, who the fuck knows why she was completely out. But everybody is so triggered by Ronda Rousey's comments, and I absolutely love it. Ronda is giving you a glimpse into what's going to happen, and what's going to happen is that she is coming back to the WWE. This is her coming back. She said the same thing in the middle of the Becky Lynch feud on social media, calling it fake fighting. Everybody fell for it then, and you fell for it again. Hook, line, and sinker. Now, people are going to obviously take this out of context. They're going to take the context of fuck the fans and blow it into something that just is not there. This was Ronda acting as a heel. This is not Ronda saying fuck the fans for the displeasure that they gave her during her time there. She is a heel. I think she knows that. She played a heel. She needed to be a heel, and she's still acting as a heel. When she comes back, she's going to be a heel. She's getting that table set for you. The match with Becky is going to happen before all is said and done. And you guys fell for it. The roster fell for it. Or the roster was probably told they either fell for it and are fucking as stupid as I think they are, or they were told to go out there and say things about Ronda just to enhance and get everybody talking about her inevitable return. You all fell for it. I think that there are fans out there that don't like Ronda Rousey just because they didn't like Ronda Rousey upon her arrival in the WWE? Absolutely. Do I think that people do not appreciate Ronda Rousey from going to UFC into the WWE, looking at her as a failure in UFC and now resorting to fake fighting? Absolutely. But if you think that Ronda Rousey didn't help the women's division, you're a complete blithering idiot. Ronda Rousey being in the women's division, though it wasn't perfect because they put her against Nia and Alexa and all these fucking women that have absolutely no business being in the ring with Ronda Rousey, they did not go about it perfect, but it brought women's wrestling to a point where it was talked about. It felt important. And whatever WWE did with Ronda and all of the greatness that Ronda brought to that division, they immediately wiped it away, and it's almost as if they got to start from ground zero again. And Ronda's not going to do that. It's not going to be the same. You had your one opportunity, you got it, and you needed to go into this and continue what Ronda did without her being there, and you failed. You failed. You went right back into the same boat. Yeah, we're going to push Becky. We ruined Becky's reign. Becky's reign is unmemorable. We're going to give fucking title after title after title to Charlotte Flair. We're going to give you rematches and rematches and matches that don't mean shit and nothing's going to be important. They dropped the ball. The women's division is as bad as it was before Ronda got there. Ronda got there, it took a big upswing just because of who Ronda Rousey is. When Ronda's not there, WWE dropped the ball. Ronda Rousey triggered everybody, and she played everybody for a fucking fool. She played you on her fucking fiddle. I love it. She's going to come back as a heel, and everything is going to be, oh, Ronda's back, and everything's going to be exciting again. And you're going to realize that what she said was merely Ronda acting as WWE's version of Ronda. Simple. I don't know why people are getting so worked up over a work. Unreal. NXT. They barely topped AEW in the ratings for week 27. NXT drew 693,000 viewers, and AEW had 692,500, according to Dave Meltzer. The updated views and the updated ratings were reported by Meltzer the next day. So instead of it being 1,000, it was as little as 500 viewers separating both shows. AEW ranked number 32 in the cable top 150 in the 18 to 49 demo, while NXT ranked 51. AEW ranked 79 in total viewership, while NXT ranked 73. Last week's Dynamite episode drew 685,000 and ranked number 37 in the cable top 150 and number 73 in total viewership, while NXT drew 590,000 viewers and ranked 74 in the cable top 150 and number 79 in viewership. This is the second lowest Dynamite viewership of 2020 going back to last week. This is also the third lowest AEW viewership in history. Clearly, everything is being affected by the news channels and the updates and the news surrounding the virus. AEW drew a 0.26 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, while NXT drew a 0.19 in the same demo. Last week's AEW show drew a 0.25, while NXT drew a 0.15 in that demographic. So AEW is still destroying NXT in the 18 to 49 demo. So, you could, if you boast about NXT beating AEW, you're a fool, because it really doesn't matter. And the thing that a lot of people really aren't looking at is the demographics 18 to 49. AEW is still single-handedly destroying NXT in those demographics, and that is the only demographic that matters when it comes to the cable networks. That is your primetime audience. That is the audience that you want to attract the most. That is the audience that the TV networks are going to look at to possibly do further business with you down the line. That's what these goons don't understand. If NXT is doing that terrible in those demographics, is USA Network going to want to do business or give them any more resources for the contract negotiations that come up after this current deal? Are they going to do business with them after the fact? No, of course not. They'll be more apt to do business with AEW because of the ratings in that demographic. That's what the demographic means to TNT. That means a whole lot to TNT. When TNT looks at these ratings, they're not looking at, NXT drew 500 more people. They're looking at the 18 to 49 demographic. Okay, we beat them there. That's all we care about. On a week like this, that's all we care about. AEW's 0.26 rating is tied with the November 27th and March 11th episodes as the second lowest ever in that demographic. Special report on Fox News topped the night in viewership in the 18 to 49 demo, and that was a 0.64 rating with 5.531 million viewers. Chicago Med on NBC topped the night on network TV in viewership with 9.071 million viewers, and then The Masked Singer on Fox topped the night with a 2.1 in the 18 to 49 demo. So that's that. NXT barely beats AEW. The NXT takeover on USA seemed to have worked. And we'll see what happens on Wednesday coming up with AEW and NXT and how they go about the TV, because NXT is going to be live. Vince is mandating that all their programs be live. And I wonder how AEW is going to go about doing that, being that they have 22 to 26 matches taped and already in the vault. It's going to be very interesting on Wednesday night to see how AEW combats a live version of NXT. Mauro Ranallo recorded commentary for NXT this week. It brought some sense of normalcy to the show. Just like I said, Corey Graves brought a sense of normalcy to SmackDown, though Mauro did it by himself and Corey was with Michael Cole. Wrestling Observer Live noted that Mauro did not have to leave California to record his commentary for NXT this week. This is also why he also provided commentary solo during the first hour, whereas the second hour had no commentary because of the cinematic Rebel Heart versus Blackheart one final beat match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Mauro Ranallo, says Meltzer, was announcing for the first hour. The second hour had no announcing. The first hour was Mauro Ranallo solo with nobody else. He was not at the building. He actually did this from California. WWE was going to tape, and now they're going live, so who knows who's going to be live on commentary Wednesday, if it's going to be Mauro, if it's going to be a WWE main roster crew. We do not know, but Mauro was there, and his voice was a welcome addition to the show. It's got to be difficult to do things solo. It did feel a little empty without Nigel there, so Mauro being back is at least a step in the right direction to bringing some normalcy to NXT. If you guys were wondering why and how that was done Whereas the previous weeks, we've seen Sam Roberts and fucking Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton, and it was just a fucking mess, and it did not feel like NXT whatsoever. The NXT TakeOver matches will not air on TV. Quickly, Dave Meltzer reported on the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that everything that WWE had planned for this show, except 3 matches, have taken place. Those next matches were the NXT Tag Team title match with Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne defending against the grizzled young veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, or making the 3-way, adding Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Also, Walter versus Finn Balor did not take place because Walter can't get into the country. The tag team title match wasn't filmed because Dunne, Gibson, and Drake also can't get into the country. Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, Keith Lee defending his title in a 3-way, and the women's ladder match already aired on NXT TV. Although WWE has not confirmed whether the match will take place or not, Adam Cole and the NXT title match with the Velveteen Dream has been built up over the last few weeks. We don't know if the match has gone silent, if they canceled it. Apparently not. They're still promoting it. If they taped it, or if they have yet to tape it and are waiting for a live audience to tape that match live at the Performance Center. We don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. But some of the NXT TakeOver matches that were planned for the big show in Tampa did not take place for obvious reasons, and WWE is airing some and not all. I'm assuming those are just on the back burner for now, and we will eventually get those matches to take place when things get back to normal. And I do believe that they are building and going to stretch this Finn Balor-Walter thing out until the Dublin TakeOver in October, because that's when it's rescheduled to take place. So that should be fun as well. I'm very much looking forward to what those two guys do together. AEW has canceled Double or Nothing. So for everybody wanting to go out to Vegas, canceled. This is due to MGM Grand Resorts and all the shows and attractions at that venue. They are being canceled through May 31st. This was reported by the Las Vegas Locally account on Twitter. Double or Nothing was scheduled to happen May 23rd at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. At the moment, the only match remotely announced for the show is the finals of the TNT Championship Tournament. AEW has recently filmed a few months' worth of Dynamite. This could be a problem now, as the event was still scheduled when the shows were taped. Some editing would need to take place if the event has indeed been canceled, and they may attempt to film the show on a closed lot similar to WrestleMania. However, AEW puts their big events exclusively on pay-per-view. AEW would also greatly prefer to have a live audience, as their pay-per-view events have been widely successful at the gate as well. Their next pay-per-view after Double or Nothing is scheduled to be All Out 2 at the end of August, Labor Day weekend. If AEW does, I don't know what AEW does. It might just be that they forget about Double or Nothing. You know, they could push everything back, which is a possibility. They could do Double or Nothing in August. They could just push everything back. They could cancel it completely and just go right to All Out. I don't know. It is a very sticky situation there as well, but I know if they canceled the Blood and Guts thing, they know that that needs to be in front of a live audience. They know that they need that to be on a normal night of pro wrestling. That needs a live audience that they intended it to have at like 11,000 people in New Jersey. Same thing with Double or Nothing. They're not going to hold the pay-per-view in an empty arena. They're not going to do it. So it's canceled, and everybody that was planning to go out to Vegas and were asking me if I'm going to be attending Vegas, it's not happening. There's no reason to go to Vegas. Vegas is shut down completely until things somehow are lifted with this pandemic going on in the United States. And finally, guys, a possible match between Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho is currently being planned. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio that an elite deletion match is not a sure thing, but it definitely is under consideration. As of this writing, there's no word yet as to why AEW let Hardy make the challenge if the decision still has not been made. For now, it is still being considered for a future taping. It should be noted that AEW taped a ton of footage of Dynamite over the last week, so far in advance to a point where they have enough content to get them through mid-May. Despite holding off on the Blood and Guts match, Hardy is still aligned with the Elite in the feud against the Inner Circle. Now, the contest obviously would have seen Hardy, Rhodes, Matt Jackson, and Kenny Omega with Hangman against Jericho, Hager, Santana, Ortiz, and Sammy G. It was supposed to take place last month, but due to the pandemic, was pulled, and that show in New Jersey was rescheduled for a later date, and all tickets for that show will be honored on the new date. I don't think this should be a thing at this juncture. WWE has kind of run the course of cinematic matches, and I think if AEW gets in bed with the cinematic matches just because Matt Hardy had been the originator of this shit, I honestly think it would look bad on AEW's part, and that they would just be following a trend. I say let it die out and let WWE kind of put their cinematic phase to rest before you jump back in bed with the cinematic matches. Hardy's character can do that anytime he wants. He does not need to rely on the fact that there's no audience and we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic to go the cinematic route just because WWE made it look good and it got everybody talking with the Firefly Funhouse and the Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa match. Don't follow the WWE way. You can do it whenever you want, and when you do it, you know it's going to be right. So wait till the time is right, and wait till this passing phase in WWE goes away. Otherwise, people are going to be thinking, too much, too soon, too many. It's already losing its appeal. You don't want to start hearing these fucking cretins on social media. Wait until time has passed. Hardy's character and that gimmick can do an elite deletion whenever they want. And it'll be great, and it'll be good, and everybody will be excited, and we won't be in this fucking phase because everybody's anticipating them. They go the route of the cinematic way just because of the situation that we're in. It doesn't need to happen. Just go about your business and do it when the time is right. You got all the time in the world. Don't rush it. Guys, I'm getting out of here. I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you missed any of my other content, go and check out the content down below. Links are there, easy access, off the script from Friday, SmackDown, AEW, my thoughts on the Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa final chapter, Monday Night Raw, everything you need is right there. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Guys, I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you right back here with new content on Monday, starting with Monday Night Raw. It's live. We don't know what to expect, and we'll see what happens as far as where they go with Drew McIntyre and his new WWE Championship title ring. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here for Raw on Monday. See you guys then.